video number 2 for reading here today, class. It's going to have our same characters, but remember this one is written in third person point of view. So we got an outside narrator looking in at both Jamal and his grandmother. So the outside narrator can talk about both of them, but doesn't really know how they think or feel, unless, of course, Grandma says how she thinks or feel. So, Grandma, Jamal asked with a grin, how do you like sending emails? Smiling proudly, his grandmother told him, emailing is a piece of cake. And so we have an idiom there, piece of cake. And we also know how Grandma feels. She thinks emailing is easy. Jamal nodded and said, would you like to learn some abbreviations to make the words shorter? Then you can type faster. Or maybe you could get a new phone and use it for your emails. Shaking her grandma said, emailing is already fast enough for me, Jamal. I still don't know how to take a photo with my phone. I realize these new phones do amazing and remarkable things. Probably going to be a test question if we're thinking about it. But it's just a treat for me to be able to call someone from wherever I am. You couldn't always do that, Jamal frowned. ? He's asking her. You had to be in a certain place to call people when you were growing up? Grandma patted his hand and said, you have no idea, Jamal. Not only did you have to be next to the phone, but the phone could not move. Plus, there was only one phone in our house. It was in the living room. We had our own phone, but we shared the phone line with 5 other families. It was called a party line, but it wasn't much of a party because Sheila, who lived across the street, hogged the phone every night. Jamal was momentarily speechless. How could 5 families share one phone line? He'd never get to call his friends. Since the phone was in the living room, what if people were watching TV? Did you have to ask them to turn down the sound all the time? Grandma smiled again. Well, at first the TV was only on a few hours each day. Everyone wanted to watch it during those hours, so the sound wasn't a problem. Jamal admitted, I'm only allowed to watch TV a few hours a day too. She shook her head and explained, no, the TV only showed programs for a few hours a day. My parents bought our first TV when I was about 6. We were the first on our streets to have one. The neighbors came to our house to watch TV, even though the screen was only about 5 inches square. That's about this big. That's how big the TV was in those days. The most exciting show on TV was about a cowboy and his horse. It was black and white at the TV, and there was absolutely no special effects. That show would look quaint and unusual now. Jamal had another question. I guess you didn't have any computers back then, so how did you do your homework? We did it the hard way, with paper and pencil, Grandma answered. If you were really lucky, you would have a typewriter. What's a typewriter? Jamal wanted to know. Grandpa pointed at the computer. A typewriter is like this keyboard, but the first one had no electricity. You pressed a key, and it popped up and printed a letter on the paper. If you made a mistake, you had to erase it, type the word again. If the paper then looked too messy, you had to start typing all over again on a clean sheet of paper. Jamal thought about that for a minute. Grandma, those were the good old days? Now he's asking that, A lot of adults will say, oh, back in the good old days. And Jamal's wondering, is that the good old days? Laughing, she said, I think any day that you enjoy life is a good old day. All right, so you should have your answer key out. We're working on the second half of these. Number 11. If the passage was written from Jamal's point of view, what would the reader know? Now you're going to know how Jamal thought and how Jamal felt. Only he likes to watch black and white TV shows. I'm sorry. Why he likes to watch black. Now, Jamal did not like watching black and white. That's out. If he wishes that he grew up in the good old days, if he is surprised that Grandma used to have a party line, and why he thinks Grandma should learn email abbreviations. Number 12. Read this sentence from the passage. Smiling proudly, his grandmother told him, emailing is a piece of cake. What does the idiom piece of cake mean in this sentence? An important skill? Part of a whole? An easy thing? A sweet thing? Cake sweet. That's not what we're talking about here. Number 13. Read this sentence from the passage. Would you like to learn some abbreviations to make the word shorter? Then you can type faster. Which word in those sentences helps you understand what abbreviations mean? Faster, shorter, type, words. Think what an abbreviation is. That'll give you a big hint. Number 14. Why is Jamal most likely speechless when his grandmother tells him about a phone party line? He would not want to share his phone time with others. He did not think his grandmother went to many parties. He is surprised that a girl named Sheila had a phone. He wondered if other people listened to the phone conversations. Now, I wondered this in my mind, but that was not in the story. So you have to pick one of those other three. Number 15, read the sentence from the passage. I realized these new phones do amazing and remarkable things, but it's just a treat for me to be able to call someone from wherever I am. What does remarkable mean in this sentence? Does it mean expensive, extraordinary, ordinary, or technical? Number 16. How does Jamal most likely feel at the end of the passage? Bored, confused, interested, or worried? "17. When Grandma was young, why did the sound from the TV not bother people who were talking on the phone? The TV was in the family room. The family disconnected the phone. Everyone listened to the conversations on the party line. No one usually talked on the phone when the TV shows were on." Now, if you're not sure about that one was from the text. You can go back and look at for that one. The exact words are written there. Number 18. Read these sentences from the passage. Jamal was momentarily speechless. How could 5 families share one line? Which word means almost the same as momentarily? Amazingly, briefly, shockingly, or surprisingly? Now remember, moment means a minute. Means a short amount of time. Which one of these words means the same? 19. Read this sentence from the passage. It was black and white and there was absolutely no special effects. That show would look quaint and unusual now. Which word almost means the same as quaint? Modern, normal, old-fashioned, or ugly? So don't pick ugly. Modern, normal, old-fashioned. Number 20. What is the most likely reason why Grandma tells Jamal about the phones and TVs from when she was young? To shock him? To make him stop complaining? To show him how things have changed? To make him wonder what is coming in the future? All right, guys. video number 2. Stay tuned. Video number 3 is going to really help you with your essay. I'm going to lay it out for you, give you some ideas, show you what I would do, and that'll give you a better chance of success.